So I would like to show you how to create your own SketchUp templates and just basically set up SketchUp environment. So when you first start your SketchUp, it will look something like this, and you can change your tool palettes and open up some extra windows. So I'll show you how I set up my SketchUp environment. I usually customize my tool palettes. So I will add some views, styles, shadows, and sections. I also like to check my units. I usually work in meters, but you can change to wherever units you like. Also changes snapping for angles to 5 degrees. I'm not changing anything else here. Well, another thing, file. Yeah, so I'm not changing anything. And then I would open layers, styles, and entity info. And these three windows basically will give you all information you need about your components or groups in your model. Also don't like these figures. So I just try to make everything clean. Also sometimes using a large tool set. It's all tools we're going to use. Create a new scene and name it modeling. I usually create some layers as well. So, for example, walls, slabs, and windows, just for example. And you can also create a couple of styles. So the first style is just a generic one for modeling and designing in SketchUp. I usually call it design. And you can update a style by clicking on the icon. Another thing, by default, you will see your styles as thumbnails. But if you have a lot of different styles, it's very hard to tell which style does what. So I usually use list view, so it's much easier to recognize different styles. I also don't like this green land and blue background for the sky. It's much easier when it's just one color, especially when it's a big model. I'll just drop a rectangle. So by default you can get endpoints and extensions as well, and it makes your model look a bit messy and hard to select different parts of the model. So I usually switch them off. I switched off profiles as well, just to keep everything clean. Then I switch off sky, so there is no sky, and change background to 50, maybe 40% gray. but don't make it too dark because you won't be able to see your guidelines. So it's good enough for me. Another style I usually create, it's called normals. So this style helps me to check face orientation in the model and be able to see if the model is built correctly or not. So if I reverse these faces, sometimes it's hard to recognize which face is faces in the wrong direction. So this style will help. It's basically changing front and back color. Change front color to blue and back color to nice red. So now it's much easier to see what's wrong with your model, and I can change them back. Also create a different scenes for checking your model. So now you can go back and forth between modeling and seeing all your textures and checking orientation of your faces. And face orientation is very important, especially when you're going to rendering your model, because sometimes it can cause problems and render faces and just in black color. And the last style I'm using is layers. Okay, so it's probably easier to duplicate design style. So we go to the last tab and select color by layer. This way you can also check if different parts of the model are in the different layers. It will help you to organize and just keep your model organized. So if so you can select different colors for your layers, and you'll be able to see. So everything yellow is layer 0. Create a component, and let's copy a couple of them. Now you can put, that's why entity info is very helpful as well, because you can switch between different layers. Those, and this guy into slabs, this one to windows, and you can change the colors. And you can also create a new scene and rename it to layers. So after you've done all this preparation work, you can select your template, and it will save all the layers, your styles, scenes, and location of your palettes and windows. So to save your window settings, just go to Preferences, workspace and save current window size. And then you can save the template, save as template, give it a name, template, and set as default. Save. Now if you close SketchUp and open up again, you'll see your default template you have created. So you don't need to create all these layers from scratch, create all the styles again. So it's all preset and you're ready to build a SketchUp model. So hopefully it was helpful for you, and see you next time.